Whether you just got your driver's license and you're in search of a new car, or you're on your way to college and you're tired of driving that 200-year-old family van. Maybe you're a car guy or a car girl that has been stranded multiple times by that project car you swear you're gonna finish next month, but next month just keeps coming and it's still not finished. Maybe you're just a regular working person who is needing to replace their current vehicle. Well, listen, whoever you are, whatever situation it may be, I've got good news. I'm here today to tell you the best car ever made, ever, period, ever. The best car ever made in history, ever. A car that you can buy without breaking the bank. My name is Jonathan, and you're watching Tastefully Modified. Now, to tell you the story of that car, I'll have to tell you the story of a different car first. So my first car, aka the X, a car that I love and hate to bring up. It was a 1998 Pontiac Firebird. And now, before I say anything else, I'm not hating on the 1998 Pontiac Firebird. I'm not hating on Pontiac. I'm not hating on Firebirds. Nothing like that. It was just this Firebird, and I'm going to explain that. So, I was living in Lakeland, Florida at the time, home of my favorite street taco truck, home of the biggest alligator on the planet, and home of Sheriff Grady Judd.
Just chill out. You know, drink a 7-Up, eat a moon pie, quit murdering people.
Polk County, baby. Ooh, yeah, baby. So it was in February, around the time of my birthday, and my parents got me a gift. They bought me my first car, and I'm very, very grateful for that. That car was a piece of junk. Okay, now they didn't know that, obviously, and I didn't know that either. I was just super excited, you know, to have something to get around in, and it was a car that I wanted. And they knew that it was a car that they knew I needed a car, and they knew how badly I wanted this car. And I'm genuinely grateful for that, so grateful. But that was my first mistake. I chose a car that I thought was nice instead of choosing a car that was going to be nice to me. The dumbest way to choose a car if you're a broke college student that is just needing something to get you from point A to point B, something reliable. So I found this Pontiac Firebird on Facebook Marketplace for I think around like $6,000. Yay, super exciting, first car. Yeah, that didn't last very long because then came the rusted out wiring, the AC compressor issues, the leaky windows, leaky T-tops, coolant system issues, you name it. All the older car problems, I had them. But it was cool though. It was the first time I was able to get my hands dirty on a vehicle, you know, something I really was looking forward to my whole life because I've always loved cars. They've always interested me. Through sweat, blood, and tears, all those bodily fluids, not fun, I was able to learn how to replace an AC compressor, replace a starter, fix the coolant issues, replace the radiator, you know, all these different things. And some of them were simple, some of them were a little more complicated. It wasn't like I was switching out a transmission. But it was great. I'm still proud of it because I was able to use my hands and use YouTube to learn, to gain some basic mechanical knowledge. And it was great, you know? So, you know, not too long after that, I still in college, I married my best friend, Brooke. It was great. Had a passenger princess on my right now, riding with the T-tops down. It was a good time. So everything was pretty normal until she came up to me one day and said something along the lines of, "I'm pregnant." What? So yeah, that was interesting. And don't get me wrong, I was very excited. And actually, it always confused me so much why guys would get rid of their fun, nice cars, sometimes the car of their teenage dreams, when they find out that they have a kid on the way. And actually, my eyes were open that day. I just thought to myself, listen, I don't need a little two-door car that's gonna add any sort of extra stress or, you know, have the belt slip off while I'm going 75 down I-4 at night during a thunderstorm. Not fun, not fun. So after that 10,000 mile struggle, miraculously, I was actually able to sell that Firebird for just around how much it was bought for, $6,000. And with that cash in my hands, I realized something. I realized, you know what? I need something bigger, something more reliable, something more mature, something better. Then the hunt began. So naturally scrolling on Facebook Marketplace in Central Florida, I came across a vehicle that I would inevitably come across due to my price point and location. A vehicle that I'd previously overlooked, actually. A vehicle so special that it has a cult following. When I first came across it, I just thought, oh, that's cool. 4 doors. It's got a V8 in it. That's pretty cool. It's under 100,000 miles. That's pretty solid. And this thing is built like a tank, too. Should be pretty solid to carry a new human. I'll take it. I'll take 2 even. So I hopped in my buddy Luke's Miata and we drove from Lakeland, Florida to Dunedin, Florida. And with 5 bands in my back pocket, I was ready to make the best automotive decision I've ever made in my life. And listen, I know what you're thinking. You've only made 2 major automotive decisions. How could you possibly know that this is the best one ever? Well, listen, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 30 years from now, even after I've driven all my favorite cars, and I hop in this one, I turn that key, and it turns on and runs like new, I'll know for sure that this car was the best car ever, and still will be, because this car is one that set me up on a trajectory of success.
It's an 84 Ford LTD Crown Victoria.
Crown Victoria.
Crown Victoria.
Crown Victoria.
Crown Victoria Interceptor.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
There was a time when aerodynamic design and agile handling would have been unheard of in a car this roomy. A time when a V8 that's more powerful and more efficient would have been simply inconceivable. But that was then, and this is now. The new Ford Crown Victoria.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Have you driven the best-built American cars? Have you driven a Ford lately?
The car I bought that bright sunny day in Dunedin, Florida was a 2009 Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, the American Panther. Also known as the Crown Vic, the Police Interceptor, the P71, the notorious VIC. If you're searching for a car, just stop searching. You found it. Today I'm going to tell you why you need to buy a P71. Now, there are 3 main things you need to look at when purchasing a vehicle. Price, obviously, reliability and longevity, which tie together, and performance for the fun people out there. Listen, let's talk money. I sold my Firebird for $6,000 and I bought my Crown Vic for $5,000 with 92,000 miles on it and no issues whatsoever. Now, listen, okay, I did run into a couple of issues. I had a battery drain once, which I think was due to the rear dome light. I had to buy a brand new set of tires, which finding out how much a brand new set of tires costs is like finding out how old Morgan Freeman is. It just does not make sense. The man has been 75 for the past 15 years. Can somebody please explain this to me? What is he eating? I don't understand. Now, my only pointer when purchasing one of these cars is you got to be careful who you buy it from. Now, I actually found this car on Facebook Marketplace. A cop was selling it, and her father is an ex-cop who collects these things and fixes them up. So, I was pretty confident that they weren't gonna try to scam me or anything. The car was bone stock. Now, a lot of people who buy these things and sell them, they do some modifications that aren't so tasteful. Let's put it like that. Some modifications that aren't necessarily good for the reliability and longevity of the vehicle. So, just do a VIN search, look at the car before you buy it, do whatever you got to do. Do your due diligence to do some research into the car before you purchase it, and don't waste thousands of dollars. Or even if you find one for under $1,000, don't waste any money buying a piece of junk that's going to leave you stranded. Now, my other piece of advice would be to buy one that is bone stock, and I'm not against cars that are modified at all. I mean, the channel name is Tastefully Modified. I'm not against modifications at all. But if it's your first car and you're not mechanically inclined, especially if it's your first car, bone stock is the way to go. Trust me. Trust me. The only thing I've done to this vehicle is take off the antennas and patch them up with fiberglass, which it was my first time using fiberglass. And I did it with a tank top on. Didn't wear long sleeves, which was a great idea. Definitely recommend it. I felt great afterwards. I wasn't itchy at all. Didn't have a bunch of micro cuts and scars. Yeah. Now listen, don't get me wrong. I do have plans for future modifications. But the modifications I want to do cost money. And I don't have money. Well, I have some money. But unfortunately, monopoly money does not work very well in real world applications. I've tried. Hey, how's it going? Can I have a iced vanilla latte with oat milk? Yeah, half calf.
What size?
Medium. I don't have change. You can just give it to Dex.
Dex.
I don't have change.
Thanks.
It's not gonna work. All right. Let's talk about reliability and longevity. Why do you think every single taxi cab at one point was a Crown Vic? Why do you think that thousands of cops all around America were crying when they discontinued the Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor? Because they're comfortable, they're fast, kind of, and they're made to last. Listen, finding parts for this thing is insanely easy. And they're so cheap, you can find them pretty much anywhere. Maintenance is a breeze. A nice, cool ocean breeze. Okay, personally, I can't speak on regular Crown Victorias, but I can talk about police interceptors because that's what I own. Here's my theory on why I think buying a police interceptor is much better than buying a Ford Crown Victoria. Theory, okay? My theory. If you think I'm wrong, then whatever. I don't know. Government vehicles, county vehicles, city vehicles, whatever you want to call it, whatever it may be, are well taken care of. Well, let me rephrase that. These cars are very well and regularly maintained because they're workhorses. And to keep a workhorse working, you got to treat it well. You know, you got to give it carrots every now and then.
Yeah, there you go.
A police officer will never have the problem of running low on oil or running out of coolant in the middle of a chase or needing a left blinker change. Because listen, when it comes to maintenance of these things, they are on it. Listen, whatever it may be, oil change, 5,000 miles on the dot. Tranny fluid is a half shade darker than it's supposed to be, changed yesterday. Whatever it may be, they are on it. Listen, Officer Andrew Dingus is in the middle of chasing Osama bin Salem. But what's that? Officer Andrew Dingus's police interceptor just went from 24,999 miles to 25,000 miles. You know what that means? It's oil changing time. Officer Andrew Dingus is no longer chasing Mr. Osama bin Laden. He is on the shoulder of I-4 by exit 32. He's got his 2-ton jacks out. He's got his jack stand. He's got a brand new oil filter. He's got 6 quarts of 5W20 fully synthetic Mobil 1 motor oil. And guess what he's doing? He's no longer chasing Mr. Osama bin Salem. He is changing that dang oil on the freeway. It don't matter how important catching this big bad terrorist is. Changing that dang oil is more important. You get what I'm saying? Maintenance is very important to vehicles that are working all the time. And the people that run these vehicles know this, so they're on it. Even if you don't get the car as soon as it's retired, you know that for most of its life, it's been very well and regularly maintained. You don't get that same kind of reassurance buying a civilian vehicle because, I mean, the sad truth is people don't really take care of their cars. That's just sad truth. You don't know for sure that they did the oil change every 5,000 miles or whatever other maintenance needs to be done. When properly and regularly maintained, I've heard about these things running up to and over 250,000, even 300,000 miles. So I'll be able to give this to my son 16 years from now and she'll still be running strong. Now let's talk about our final point. Performance. Performance, baby.
Nice.
It was kind of clean. Now, hopefully you won't get into many situations where you have to do a maneuver like that, but it sure is nice to have a vehicle that you know you can mess with, have some fun with, and it'll still run the same the next day. Now listen, this car is beefy. When I say beefy, I'm talking 4,100 pounds of beef. This thing is heavy. Now, for this car being the Titanic on wheels, it's got some pretty impressive power. It's got 250 horsepower with this 4.6 liter V8 under the hood at about 297 pound-feet of torque. Now, the civilian Crown Vic only has about 220 horsepower. That's a pretty good difference. Enough of a difference for you to be able to say, this ain't no regular Crown Vic. This is a freaking police interceptor.
I guess it's not so bad after all. Told you.
Now, that V8 is paired up to a 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive. And I know what you're thinking, oh, it's automatic. Listen, I'm not just talking to the car guys and car girls here, okay? It's not all about you. It's not all about you. Some people like convenience. 0 to 60 is about 7 seconds. And that's if you're really trying. Listen, but you know what? It's fine because it's faster than the 1954 Volkswagen Beetle 1200 that has a 0 to 60 of about 35 seconds. That is like dangerously slow. So don't even complain, okay? Now I know all the car guys and car girls and manual purists out there are throwing up in their mouths right now at the sound of automatic. But hey, listen, I'm talking to everyone, okay? I'm talking to everyone. Plus, the P71 deserves a pass. Because if you've ever driven one of these cars, if you've ever really driven one of these cars, you know. Trust me, you know. All right, now I'm talking more to the car guys and to the car girls. This thing is a great daily driver stock. But if you absolutely need a manual, just grab a T45 from an old Mustang and just plop her in there. Because, you know, it's just that simple. Never done a transmission swap. I've also seen a lot of these things pro-charged, supercharged, turbocharged, you know, pushing a lot of power. I actually recently saw an episode of Detroit Muscle where they took one of these Crown Vics. I think it actually was 2009 as well. I'm not too sure. But they took one of these Crown Vics, completely stock, upgraded the fuel system, did a single turbo application. I promise I know how to speak English. And a tune, and they gained over 100 horsepower. I'm not sure the exact specs, but I know it was over 100 horsepower. It was crazy. Shoot, if you really got an unlimited budget, just go ahead and throw a Coyote in there. Listen, the bottom line is whether you're a car guy or a car girl looking for a good platform to pull some good power out of, or you're just a regular working person looking to replace their current vehicle, do yourself and your country a favor, scrounge together some money, get on Facebook Marketplace, buy yourself a Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. Do it now. Whew. That one's kind of clean.